Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 317. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG4Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
It is legit. Feels like summer. I know officially the calendar would say otherwise. Today is summer. It's hot, baby. It's hot.
So we hit a record. We hit a high for 86 today, right? Mm-hmm. But it's gonna rain and be like 50 degrees tomorrow. So
it's gonna rain.
It's spring.
That's right.
It's truly spring. It's back and forth, right?
Well,
we'll hit heat, and then we'll hit rain, and we'll hit cold. It's just gonna be revolving back and forth until we hit summer, where it's just gonna be like 90 degrees like every day.
Oh, it's gonna be brutal. Yeah, but today was a little brutal. I mean, I got a little sun outside. It was nice. Got to enjoy the deck a little bit, so feeling good about that. And something I didn't mention, I mean, you know this from behind the scenes and whatnot, but I got myself a new job, and along with that job, I decided to get myself a little vacation on top of that. So come August, I will be headed down to the Caribbean. I think Mexico is considered part of the Caribbean. It's definitely Central America. I don't want to get that wrong.
Don't think so.
Well, all right. It's got the Caribbean weather. All right, that's what I'm trying to say.
All right, you got. I think they do have palm trees in Mexico, right?
They got everything down there. Yeah. So very excited for that. A little 7-day vacation. Should be nice.
What part of Mexico? What part of Mexico? Because I went to Cancun last year for my birthday.
I believe the place is in Playa del Carmen, which is very close, I think, to Cancun. I think it's on the same coast. Just one's a little bit more north, maybe. Yeah. So very excited.
As you know, I didn't talk about it on the show. I'm going to Jamaica next week. So when you hear the next show, not this show, the next show, I will be on the beach in Jamaica, eating some jerk chicken, and hopefully sipping on a coconut.
Oh, love it.
I know. No. I know. Listen, you definitely need to get away. You haven't really done anything in 2 years. I know. I went to Mexico last year.
Yeah. Besides going to Penny Arcade, which we didn't do last year, but I did do like the day trip with Anthony. I haven't really gone anywhere. We were supposed to go. Me and some friends were supposed to go to Mexico right after the pandemic hit, right after we got back from Penny Arcade 2020, and we had this thing booked. And every single day.
France too?
Oh, France was like ages ago. Yeah, France was 2013. Germany was 2018.
I know, but weren't you supposed to go like the Paris of France? Yeah, you're supposed to go to France with your family, right? You're supposed to go to Europe.
Oh, I was trying to organize something with the family and all that, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of been put on the back burner. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But Mexico was on the books, and it was like every day we kind of weighed, we can still go, right? We can still go, right? And we set it up until like, I guess maybe like a month before we were like, all right, it's not going to happen. Like, and it was a struggle to get my money back, let me tell you, but I made that happen. The airline legit tried to like be, well, we'll give you a credit. And I'm like, and before I could say anything else, they're like, but it's only good up until the end of the year. And I was like, no. First of all, no, I don't want the credit. And second of all, how do you make credit that is supposed to expire when there's a zombie apocalypse going on that we know nothing about, and you have no clue when this is going to end, but you have the gall to say you have 8 months to book a trip and use it, which you may not be able to do. In fact, I wouldn't have been able to do if I had gone through. So I'm like, you need to get somebody on the phone who's going to say, here's your money back, because that's the result that's going to happen here. And that eventually happened. I was very calm. I was very nice about it. But, yeah. And I hate doing that, too.
That part you didn't tell me. I know.
Oh, yeah, no, that was a whole big thing.
They do that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
One of the guys, part of my team, he's no longer with us. No, he's alive. He just doesn't work for us.
I was gonna say, I was like, "Oof, rest in peace." Is it a little rest in peace going on there? I'll say a prayer.
No, but he's not supposed to. He wanted to go somewhere. I think it was like Thailand or something. And then the zombie apocalypse hit, and they said, "Well, you have until December to go."
Oh.
Of 2020, 2020, he had to December. I don't know if he went because we end up parting ways during the summer, but I wonder if he got his money back, or if he actually had to go on a trip.
Now, I just want to go ahead and clarify because I will be penned as a Karen or a Chad or whatever the male equivalent of a Karen is. I only did that.
I'll just call you Kevin.
I only did that because there was a giant question mark around this thing. We didn't know what it was. Nobody knew what the travel restrictions would be in a month, let alone at the end of the year. So otherwise, if there was a case where like, okay, we'll give you credit or whatever, I would have taken the credit. I'm not going to be that guy that tries to fight for the whatever because I made a mistake or there was a whatever. But this was a, literally an act of God, I think, right? In this case, we had necessarily no control over this. I had no control over what was going on. I really wanted to go, couldn't go. So, but anyway.
All right. Well, before we started recording, my internet went down. Before my internet went down, I was trying to get the free Disney Plus. I told you last week I was trying to. With Verizon, right? I signed a new deal. Verizon, they said I get free Disney Plus. I was trying to get the Disney Plus. I definitely got to get Disney Plus because they're doing a new Daredevil series.
Nice. So I heard about this. I'm assuming they're getting the original actor back.
Original actor, he's back, and they're doing a new series. Now I don't know if it's going to be as dark as the Netflix series.
Right.
But it's canon. It's canon.
Well,
we know that we know that from the Marvel movies.
Spoilers. There's a thing that happens that we know that now that is canon, which is awesome. Well, actually, from multiple Marvel media, we know that it's canon. You need to catch up on your Disney Plus. I will say that. But as far as the darkness goes, one, the Multiverse of Madness is directed by Sam Raimi of Army of Darkness and Evil Dead fame and many other movies. Spider-Man 2, but 1 and 2 and 3. But that is very dark. And Moon Knight, also very dark. Deals with a lot of psychological horror and whatnot. So, given those two things...
I can see that, but like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage.
The Defenders.
They were like more DC dark, right? Like they were more real, more realistic. They had bullets and guns. It was less fantasy.
You should see Moon Knight. You should see Moon Knight.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Moon Knight. I don't know. I would think it's dark, but more like fantasy. dark, right? Like
I mean,
poltergeist. Then
it is because
Order.
it deals with like Egyptian gods, but yeah, I mean, there's some people that straight up die in that show.
Okay. Right. Well, I didn't know.
It's a lot of blood.
Well, I hope they keep it. I thought Daredevil was great. It was the best show, so I hope they keep that
out of the 4. Yeah, agreed.
Out of the 4.
Agreed.
I thought Daredevil was good. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, a toss up for number 2. I think they both were great. Both shows were great. And then Iron Fist. I didn't think it was that bad, but definitely the 4th, best out of the whole. I
mean, someone's got to be in last place, right? You can't have a 4-way tie for first.
Yeah, and then actually, I found out that sort of Marvel inked a deal with like Stan Lee's family or like his estate. That Stan Lee's likeness will be in future movies and shows and stuff. They will be able to use likeness, so that's good to hear. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, as long as the family signs off on it, I'm okay with it. If they were like, nah, we don't want that to happen, I was like, okay.
Now, will it be like CG? Will it be like
it has to
CG
be.
version?
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, no, not really, because you could have like a picture of him in the background somewhere, right? Like,
sure.
Sort of subtle, right? Like a subtle.
Right, have him on like the wall of the pizza shop or something, right? And,
yeah. Or the pizza shop called Stanley's Pizza.
right. I think they're gonna like legit 3D him and put him in there.
Spider-Man's at Tony Stark's house,
right.
Just looking at pictures, thinking of Tony Stark, and then you see a picture of Robert Downey Jr. and Stan Lee just sitting on a mantle or something.
That'd be awesome.
That's what I like when I heard this. That's what I thought. Like I didn't think they would have, unless it's like the Spider-Man animated series or something like that.
Right.
Like I would think not a CG Stan Lee. But
I think they're gonna. I mean, it because he only has like a line in like every Marvel movie, right? He doesn't have a lot, so
maybe you
wouldn't
just hear
be
his
that
voice, or maybe you just hear his voice. Like,
or sure, you could do that too. Yeah. I feel like whatever they're gonna do, it's gonna be respectful. All right.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he's the man who created he's the guy who created Marvel. I mean, along with a bunch of other people, but he's one of the big guys.
You just don't gloss over the people. I love it. Well, even Stan Lee was like, he didn't create everything. He was sort of the boss. He created a lot of characters, but he was like the boss. He created a lot of like
Captain America and a lot of the early. I think Fantastic Four was his thing, and the X-Men, and
he didn't create
Spider-Man.
He didn't create Thanos. Right, like he didn't create Thanos. He didn't.
No,
I don't think he did the Avengers. I don't think he came up with the Avengers.
Right.
But he was like the boss when other creators were creating these things.
Yeah. Well, there was like Jack Kirby and Jim Lee and a bunch of other, like prominent people who really, were either penning the stories or doing the artwork or coming up with the character design. So there's a lot of people involved. But he was there from the beginning, right? I mean.
But he's like he's the face of Marvel.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Let's get this show on the road. Mm-hmm. We have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we talk about the PS Plus Extra and Premium games have been confirmed. Well, some of them confirmed, not all of them. We got the list, so we know what we're going to be playing if you upgrade. And is Death Stranding getting a sequel? Well, we'll talk about it. But before I get into any of that, let's begin with Square Enix making a Final Fantasy VII announcement next month of the 25th anniversary of the original game's release.
Yep.
That just makes me feel old. That just makes me feel old because I remember when this game got released. It was the only Final Fantasy game I ever cared about until this day. It's still the only Final Fantasy game I care about.
Well, yeah, it came out in 1997. I thought it came out in May, but maybe it was June. I know it came out over the summer, and everybody
it could have been a Japan release too. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it was 96 in Japan, so this is the American 25th anniversary, I think.
All right.
Yeah, because I think it came out a year earlier, because they had to localize it and all that and kind of prep it. So I think it came out maybe towards the end of the year, so 1996, and then next year in America, everybody was talking about this game.
But this was a big deal because it was the first Final Fantasy game that wasn't on a Nintendo platform. This was
That's
the
right.
perfection, right?
That's
for
right.
PlayStation.
That's right.
And this made the PlayStation worthwhile, like even more so, right?
Oh, sure. If it wasn't already
budget
like a hot
game.
commodity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that the main thrust of it, well, the main thrust definitely was the fact that Nintendo decided to do cartridges again, and everybody else was doing CD formats, right? I believe, I mean, I guess you could count like the handhelds and you could count the Switch, but really the last cartridge console was the N64, I think, right? I think anybody else after that, up until like, not counting the handhelds, till like the Switch comes around again, which is still also a handheld, but that was kind of the end of it. Everybody moved towards CDs at that point.
No, you're correct. That was the last mainline console to have just that was cartridge based.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And they PlayStation, or I guess Square Enix saw the writing on the wall, and they were like, well, hey, we want to get into cinematics. We want to do CG video, and we want to really enhance our games, because like they were doing, pixel art, whatever, for their like 16-bit games. They were all on the Super Nintendo, and some of them on the Game Boy, and whatever else. And they're like, we want to move ahead, because we can now do cinematics. We see where the industry is going, and the cartridge just wasn't feasible. There wasn't enough available space on there. Cartridges were very expensive. They did make some demos, funny enough. They made some demos of Final Fantasy VI in 3D as like a test for the N64. And they showcased it, I think, at like an E3 or a CES. But that was it. There was just 3 little demos. They were battle demos. And it looked cool. But they were just kind of testing the waters to see what's up. And then they were like, nope, we're going to go PlayStation.
So what do you want to see from the, like, what type of announcement would you want to see?
What do I want to see, or what are they going to show?
Both. Give me what you want first, and then give me what you think they're going to show.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's just Final Fantasy VII, make an announcement that it'll be streaming on the Nintendo Switch, or it is now coming to Xbox. Because that's the thing that hasn't, and you may find a rumor or two about it online, but it's all speculation. And what is gonna happen? I mean, they're going to announce part 2 of Final Fantasy VII. If it's just a Final Fantasy VII themed presentation. Those are the only 2 things I can think of. Unless they're going to talk about the other 2 games. Because I think there's 1 or 2 other games that are also in development that haven't necessarily come out yet. They already dropped the clothing line. I think that it may have gotten leaked. The Uniqlo Final Fantasy crossover thing. So that's like already out there. So that's not really going to be news. I don't know if they were looking to hold that over or whatever else, but that's already out there. So I couldn't necessarily think, short of a new game related to Final Fantasy VII that we haven't heard about yet, but that's doubtful.
Well, I think, well, just for clarification, it dropped in the United States. Final Fantasy VII came out in the United States on September 7th, 1997, and in Europe, November 17th.
Ah, okay.
So then January of this year was the 25th anniversary because it came out in Japan.
Oh, okay.
This is just the anniversary year, but it's coming up on coming up on anniversary. It's coming up on the anniversary of North America coming in this September, but they're having a live stream in June.
Okay.
So, what I want to see is what I think we're going to see. One and the same. We're going to see Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, yeah.
We may not see... We'll see a trailer. We may not see gameplay, because that may be reserved for Sony's, whatever their presentation is, right? Showcase.
Sure. That could certainly be.
And if they do a Switch stream, you definitely have to... If they say it's streaming on the Switch, then it's coming out on an Xbox. But I don't know how long that exclusivity is.
I think it was just a year.
It still hasn't come. It's been a year. It's been more than a year.
Well,
still hasn't come. It hasn't come. right?
It's
so we don't know.
That game has
we
been
don't
in
know
development for a long time, though. So yeah,
we don't know what the sort of the contract is with Sony, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, if they make no mention of it coming to the Switch, which it would have to be streaming or coming to Xbox, it's not coming for a long time. It's not coming for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will do it eventually because Square does eventually put everything on the Switch, whether it's a streaming situation or just like a port or whatever it is. Like they always eventually come to the Switch. They could do a very heavily modified version for the Switch, but I don't know if they have the manpower to do that. They'd have to get a third-party studio to help them out with that, and I don't.
If it
I don't
came
really
out
think
on the
that's
Switch,
in the cards.
if it came out on the Switch, it would have to be download, right? It would be assets on the cart and downloaded, right? Like it couldn't. I don't think that whole game could fit on a cart.
They're not going to want to pay the price for like a 128 gig or 256 gig cart.
Yeah.
So.
So.
Now, if it's more than just Final Fantasy VII, then we're going to get an announcement for 16 because we saw a teaser for that, and everyone's asking what's going on with 16. Right? We need a little more about that. So maybe we'll get an official trailer and maybe a launch window for that or a launch year. That could be in the cards, which I hope so.
If we get more than Final Fantasy VII, it will be definitely going to get a manga. We're going to get a manga.
Oh,
yeah. Machine.
All the things.
Machine announcement. All the things. We're going to get the whole shebang. We're going to get Final Fantasy mobile games announced as well.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be the whole thing, and hopefully 16 gets. We get something about 16.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it though, and I'll tell you why. Because 16 is going to be, obviously on all the platforms. Sony has the marketing for it, but then you got either 16 or Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. Can't have both. Like that is your main thing. So I think that's both of those are your end of the show mic drop moments that people want to see.
Sure.
Right. So which game is further in development that's going to come out first? Because that's what you're going to show. I don't think you're going to compete with both of those. So Final Fantasy, let's just say for argument's sake, Final Fantasy 2 Remake comes out next year, which I don't think it. Then Final Fantasy 16 is another 2 years away.
Oh, 7-2 is definitely coming out next year. I would bet money on that.
Next year? They've been in development since July 2020 for part 2.
Yeah, I understand. The engine's done. They have, and even if you didn't see them in the game, the character models for the other characters that you play as are done. So they just, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but the engine's done, the battle system's done. They just have to create the new scenarios and hit all the points in the game, right? Because they're basically recreating 7 or remixing 7 and putting it in a new situation. So yeah, like there's a lot more work. I think maybe story-wise and narrative-wise and kind of building all that stuff out. But we already got like the Intergrade, which brought Yuffie into the mix earlier than she was in 7 originally. So now we
that was
just
a tease. That was a tease. I loved it. It was such a tease.
Well, yeah, I mean it was like a quick little thing. But we're gonna get more Yuffie. We're gonna get Sid. We're gonna get Red 13, Vincent, and Kate Sith. Those are the other, like, 5 characters, I guess, or 4 characters that still need to come out.
Right. Well, we did speak about cartridge-based system.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I felt old talking about. I felt old talking about cartridge-based systems. Final Fantasy VII, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, but you know who else feels old or who's old? I didn't realize. LeBron James. LeBron James is only 3 years younger than me. He's 37. He's 30. Well, he'll be 37. His birthday's in December.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he'll either be 37 or 30. Yeah. December of 85.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be 37. And Spawnwave Media on YouTube, great channel. Watch him every morning with his updates. Right. He scored it big time. LeBron James had a Q&A on Twitter, and he responded to Spawnway's question of the N64 versus the GameCube, and LeBron James just said N64.
Sure.
And this made big news, right? Because LeBron apparently at least used to be a gamer. I don't know if he's still a gamer, but he used to be a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I thought it was weird at first. I'm not gonna lie. Like, why would you pick the N64 over the GameCube? I think the GameCube was better than N64. Personally.
Okay.
But then I realized how old he is. Right. LeBron got drafted the year that Michael Jordan retired finally from Wizards. That was I think in 02.
02, 03, yeah.
Yeah, 02, 03, right? The GameCube came out, 01, 02, right?
GameCube came out 01, same year as the Xbox in November, like a week apart.
Late 01. So its full first year was 02, right?
Right.
LeBron was worrying about high school and getting drafted to the league at that point, right? So he had a lot going on. You can see the writing on the wall, like this guy was going to be great.
Yeah.
And he was going, he's going to the league. So, but I want to say 96 is when the N64 came out. So LeBron would have been like 11, right? In grade school. So I can see his nostalgia for the N64 because that's the prime years when you're like 11, 12, 13, right? Like you got nothing else to do. You have no responsibilities. So the N64 was his Nintendo of the day, right? Like
sure,
like our NES or SNES.
Yeah,
so
that
I could see that.
That always factors in the nostalgia of the game you grew up with, the system you grew up with is gonna weigh. It's gonna weigh heavily, as objective as you're gonna be about it. It's still gonna be, I have fond memories of this as a child, and it certainly factors in. Now, I want to hear what
memories of Super Mario Brothers 3.
I do. Do you now? I want to hear your reasoning why you think the GameCube is better than the N64.
Oh,
it's not that I disagree. I'm just curious why.
It's two big things. One, the controller. I do have fond memories of the N64 controller. Like when it came out, it was like, it's like a stick from the arcade in my hand, right? Like I remember that.
Yeah,
the controller for the N64 is just more familiar to controllers now. Like people don't even know how to hold the N64 controller properly. I don't even think there is a way to really.
Oh my god,
hold
it's
the
not
N64.
that. It's not that out there.
Come on.
For every Nintendo game, you hold the middle bit and the right hand side, and pretty much for every other game, you hold the left side and the right hand side for the traditional style platformers and non 3D games.
All right.
It ain't hard.
So no. All right, so nobody knows how to hold it.
There's two ways to hold it, Dan. It's not difficult.
And the game selection and the games are, I think, a better choice for the GameCube than the N64. The N64, you gotta remember, that was a time where every game was going 3D, right? For better or worse, it was going 3D.
Right.
And a lot of times it was worse. And this is the early days of 3D.
It was not every game was Mario 64, and to be fair, looking back at Mario 64, a camera is not that great, but it was pretty revolutionary because it was one of the, if not the first game to have a decent camera and have the camera controls and all that, and like they really kind of considered it. It's trash by today's standards. Like the camera goes all over the place. They've gotten a lot better with it. So I'll agree, the 3D games or whatever are better on the GameCube. It has a little bit more horsepower. They kind of learned some lessons from the previous generation. Sure. Like game-wise though, like are you going to tell me Mario 64 is worse than Mario Sunshine?
I'll take Mario Sunshine over Mario 64.
Wow! Oh, and
the
internet goes wild then.
Any day.
The internet
100%.
Goes wild. Well, we're gonna get flooded
100%.
with comments now. At
100%.
Rated G, all right, at us, but make sure you specifically say, "Hey Dan, you're wrong." All right.
I'll take. I'm about to go again. I'll take Wind Waker over Ocarina of Time. Any day.
Okay. And look, I'm not here to say that one is better than the other. I also like the GameCube more, but that's a personal choice. If you want to go to the mat and say the N64 is a better system, and you give me some like good reasons and you back it up, I'm right there with you.
And if you have the Game Boy Advance player, you can play Game Boy Advance games.
No, that doesn't. No, you can't.
Counts.
You can't.
It's a peripheral.
No,
I'll take that over the N64 disc system.
You can't put accessories, because then if you're going to do that, then the Sega CD is a peripheral for the Sega Genesis, and that doesn't count.
Take that.
And the 32X is a peripheral, and it doesn't.
It counts.
No.
It counts.
I'll
count it.
No.
I'll count it. If we're talking,
it does not count.
If we're talking Genesis, over the SNES. The SNES still beats the Genesis, even with the peripheral.
I'm aware, but it's a different. No, when you look up games online, it doesn't say games for the Sega Genesis, but you need this peripheral. They say games for the Sega CD. That's how they label it. It is a different system
can't play
that requires the base
unless
system.
you have, which you can't play unless you have a Genesis.
I'm aware,
That's
but
how that works.
It's a completely different format, though. It's a completely different format.
But you need the Genesis for it to work.
And you also need the Sega CD add-on. So whatever you want to classify it as, it is its own thing, and it does not count in the discussion. If you're going to pit the Genesis versus the Super Nintendo.
I'll take that challenge. It is not its own thing, because you need a Genesis for that game to work. That game does not work without the Genesis.
Yeah, but you don't need the Game Boy player to play Game Boy Advance games. So
I do need it if I want to play it on
peripheral.
I do need it if I want to play it on TV.
Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't count it doesn't count in the scheme of things.
In 2005, because you can play it on Retron 5 now, but
you
2005,
or you can just play it on a Game Boy Advance, Dad, like it's originally intended. You can just play it on the portable system.
If you don't have a backlit screen, no, you can play it on the TV. I would rather play the Minish Cap on the TV.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily count that into the whole thing, because then you get into some weird situations like, well, the Nintendo DS is great because I can play this Mario game and I can play this game. The library is like 3,000 games as opposed to like the 1,000 or 2,000 that were on there.
Counts.
No, it doesn't, because now you're saying that the Game Boy Advance has all the Game Boy games, has all the Game Boy Color games, and the Game Boy Advance games, so it wins because it has a bigger library. That doesn't count.
It counts.
No,
it counts.
Doesn't.
It counts. I will.
Then the Game Boy is never going to be a better system because you're just going to win on the amount of game library alone, and you get a color screen.
Judge Classic will allow it in his courthrooom. No. I allow it in my courtroom.
No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yep. I allow it.
That doesn't count.
Your objection is sustained.
If substained?
Sustained.
All right, we're like coming at odds here. All I was gonna say is that LeBron ain't wrong. We both think the GameCube was better. We are in the same, but I ain't gonna fault LeBron.
There is no wrong or right. It's just his opinion.
Well, wait a minute.
There is no wrong or right.
If you're gonna pit, let's say you want to pit the Jaguar versus the PlayStation, or the Jaguar versus the Super Nintendo.
It had more buttons.
It did. Yeah, it had a damn phone pad on there.
It was the first. It was the first 64-bit console.
If you want to go to the mat, with the Jaguar, you have to come at me with a college rule. Single spaced presentation, and you need to get up on the podium and do a dance to get me to even consider the Jaguar being better than the Super Nintendo.
It played Doom and Wolfenstein better than it did the SNES.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell me, Mom, you know what I want for Christmas? I want this thing that only plays 2 games good. No, you're gonna want the Super Nintendo.
And Tempest. So it's 3 games. It's
Tempest 2. Yeah, and I'll also give you Alien vs. Predator, maybe the RoboCop game.
Go. See, there you go. You're making the argument for the Atari Jaguar. There you go.
It's not worth $400 or $500 for the system.
If more people bought the Atari Jaguar, they would have came out with a better controller.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
They would have came out with a better controller if more people would have bought the Jaguar.
And also to be fair, the buttons on there, the extra buttons, were only used to input codes. I don't think any game really used it. Maybe there was some strategy games or whatever.
You know what?
But it was really the 3 buttons and the start button. The other buttons were just kind of stupid.
And you know what? When I have a stupid code that I got to put on Xbox, and I got to use it on Xbox, and I'm sitting here going
they don't have codes anymore. They don't have codes anymore.
No. Code. No, when you put in when you go into the store and you add in the code to redeem something.
Oh, well, you just want to get the chat pad add-on. That's all. Spend like $25, get a chat pad add-on.
I gotta.
Because this is still a number pad. So you were doing T9. No, you were doing T9 input like you have a Nokia phone from back in the day. Get out of here.
There we go. That's better.
You're tapping 3 times to get to F. All right.
Okay. It's still faster. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it over the Xbox way. I'll take it over the Xbox way.
Okay.
And you got to buy peripheral to do it faster. It's right there in the Jaguar controllers. It's right there. I'll take it.
What is the D key? Show me where the D key is.
And we gotta hit forward 3 times. Oh. And another argument will be, oh, you got this Nintendo. What's a Nintendo? I have a Jaguar. Jaguar. Mine's the Jaguar.
Listen. A cool name will only get you so far, and that's like 2 years in the gaming industry.
It gets you in the door.
And then they quickly left. But yeah.
Okay. Something that didn't quickly leave was the Xbox 360. It's still here apparently. 2 generations away, right? Removed, but it's still here because it just got an update.
Okay.
Yeah, the 360. I can understand the PS3 having an update to make sure that the system doesn't brick when the internal battery eventually dies.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Right.
But the 360 is actually updating, to make sure it's fixing like the pins in the home screen. Like, this is weird. It's still like updating the quality of life features.
Yeah. Well, it's when you like hit the start button or whatever and I want to pin this to the homepage and make it a thing that's easily accessible in a card format, right? Apparently that wasn't working on the 360. Looking at the notes on it, apparently it was a very easy fix, which is, I think, why they got it out. So it was like, oh, we know how to do this, right? It's an issue on the back end. They put out a fix almost right away. Like, they heard there was some people having problems, said, oh, we got it. I think this is great, though. This is goodwill. They're garnering a lot of goodwill with the fans over this because they're saying, oh, we hear you. We can go ahead and fix this. If it was like a bigger issue, well, I don't know. I guess they would also probably have to fix it. If it was a big debilitating issue, they would also have to fix it. But I don't know. Like, if people were complaining about something that was as innocuous as this, but it was a hard fix, they probably wouldn't have fixed it. I think if there was a lot more effort involved with it, I doubt they would have fixed it. That's my like take in the matter, right? Because I think we talked about it before the show. Who is playing the Xbox 360 now? Not a lot of people. Considering that
who's playing it?
Oh, LeBron James.
The people, no, well, probably the people who don't have internet. You remember? Do you remember that? If you don't have internet, well, we got a console for you. We got a console for you.
It's our boy Don Matrick. Yeah, God. Jeff Keighley, he was asking him that question, and Jeff Keighley looked like he just saw like Sasquatch. He was real confused. Real confused. Oh,
Dave, it's that part of the show, as we always try to start the show, but epic fail. You've been playing.
Oh, you know what I've been playing, Dan. Still been playing my Elden Ring.
You still on that?
ELDNRING. Elden Ring.
Is there any other characters you want to bang from Elden Ring?
No. There's only a small set, and it consists of one character, and her name is Ranni. All right, we talked about that last episode. Everybody else is like, you probably don't want to mess with them because they are infected. More or less.
I don't even know what that means. I still haven't played it.
You gotta get into that game. You'll see.
It's in my Xbox.
It's in your Xbox?
That disc is actually in my Xbox.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
Well, you know what you got to do, Dan? You know what you got to do? You got to go over to that game. You got to pin it to your homepage so that when you boot the game up the next time, you can be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to play some Elden Ring.
Well, you know what? I
Take an hour or two, get into it. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
You'll get there. You'll get there. By the end of the year, you'll put some time into it.
You know what? I was going to play it, but then something got my attention. That is Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah?
Been playing Cyberpunk 2077 on my PS5. I restarted my save. I left off sort of in the open world where you already had Keanu in your head, and now you're off. You can do whatever you want, right? It's not as linear as like the first 5 hours.
Right,
so
right.
I redid all of that, sort of the tutorial. I redid everything, and I am now further than I was before because I did about 5-6 hours. Okay. Right, which is the beginning. I'm at almost 8 hours right now, so I'm definitely further than I was before. I did get frustrated at one point where I had to restart a checkpoint because it wouldn't let me progress. So I did have one hiccup. It wasn't perfect. Okay. I had one hiccup, but I had to redo everything. And I started actually. You have 3 different paths you can take as your background, and I took the corporate path this time instead of the street path. There you go. Yeah. So I was a corporate guy. Yep.
That's the same path that I'm on. Same path that I'm on. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I mean, once they like ironed out most of that stuff, it got pretty good.
I don't remember this. Can you change the camera view in the car? Like when you're in the car, can you change the camera view from looking, being inside the car, and you can,
I'm almost certain there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different camera views in the car, directly behind the car, a little bit removed, and like almost like a top down, or like a kind of far away, like the camera's like way back here and the car's over here.
I got to figure that out. I can't call my car for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you own a car yet? Or because I thought it was just a car service.
No. Remember in the beginning you could call the car, right? And then you could drive around.
Right. But I don't know if you necessarily own that particular car. I think you got it to show you, hey, here's how you can drive. But I think it's a service that you have to call up. It's been a while. Because you can.
We had the service because the service comes at the end. I mean, of the end of the beginning of the story, right? Towards the end, that got you into the big mission that got you in trouble where you got to fix it, right? But sort of in the beginning when you can, sort of go over here or go over here, these are your only 2 things to do for the story. You can call your own car, and it was like, you better not scratch it or put a dent in my car.
Yeah,
Jackie, don't put a dent in your car.
It's somebody else's car. Yeah, I think you're just borrowing it. I think.
Well, it's gone. So now I'm just stealing cars.
Well, there you go. See.
I know, but don't you get arrested? I was afraid the cops are going to come after me, and I was going to be in a shootout.
You can. I haven't played it in a little while, so I forget how the mechanics changed. But I know they updated a bunch of stuff and made it a lot better. So I think you can, but I think now it's a matter of the police need to be around when you do it. Otherwise, they don't know that you stole the car.
And that's if you get a parked car, because if I get a car that with somebody in it, I'm sure they'll call the cop.
Oh, well, sure, yeah. I mean, you would think ideally, yeah.
So, all right. On that note, why don't we take a break? We'll come back. We're getting to top gaming news of last. And we're back. Before we get into the rest of the show, I just want to remind everybody, if you're looking at this in the video portion, behind me, the shrine to the best video game of all time.
Oh, I noticed.
And it's not.
I noticed.
It's not Super Mario Brothers 3. It's not Super Mario Brothers 2. Not Super Mario Brothers the original. It's Super Mario World / Super Mario Brothers 4 if you're in Japan.
Now, who got you Who got you that present? Who got you that wonderful Christmas present? I'll give you one guess, Dan.
I think I found it at a garage.
I think you found it at a garage. Get the hell out of here. I got that for you. Because I know it's like one of your favorite games of all time, if not your favorite game of all time. So I got got it framed for you. I'm glad to see it on display. It looks very nice.
It is making a special guest appearance for episode 317. I just wanted to put that out there.
I love it.
All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We don't have many news in the docket today. I mean, it's been a slow week. I mean, it's always slow in May, right?
It's a slow month. Yeah, May is
slow month because it's the calm before the storm of E3 that's non-existent.
That's right.
Year.
That's right. Unless we get a leak, unless you get a major leak, which we haven't, surprisingly. I don't think anything big's leaked yet. It's gonna be a little slow.
But our top story is PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. They finally announced some of the games that will be available at launch. I think it launches at the end of June in North America, and I'm definitely going to upgrade my subscription. It sucks that it's in June. You know, I like to have my subscriptions in January, but Nintendo threw me off with you get 6 free months if you link it to your Amazon account. So I think mine's now is in July or August.
Sure,
something along those lines. So I may have to line everything up around June now instead of January.
You do what you got to do, you know.
But I don't want to. I'm not gonna go through all the games on here. But I will say the one surprising thing was Ubisoft Plus classic games included in PS Plus Extra in Plus Premium. So you'll get like your Assassin's Creeds games and stuff like that. Which is this a precursor to Sony buying Ubisoft?
I told you it was going to happen, Dan. I think I think it's a thing.
It's not. It's not a thing. Ubisoft.
Are you kidding me? There's been rumors that they've been shopping around, and you know.
Yeah, I think they're shopping around more so to get an influx of money, not to be like just bought out completely.
Well, they're either going to get like outside investment from some Chinese company or whatever it is, or Microsoft.
Tencent's going to get a bigger stake.
Tencent may be the company to do it, or it's going to go PlayStation or Sony, or I'm sorry, Microsoft or Sony. One of them is going to pick them up, and I don't think it's going to be Microsoft because they just made the biggest acquisition for Activision Blizzard.
Wouldn't it be funny if Nintendo came out of nowhere and just said, we're buying Ubisoft because, you know, their games never come to our platforms the day and date.
And then they're just going to make Just Dance for the rest of eternity.
The Wii will be supported forever.
Oh my god. All
right, so I'm just gonna go through some of these games on a list. But I think this is a great start, right? Because we were supposed to get hundreds of games, and we still will get hundreds of games. But they've only announced like just a portion of it, not even half. You know, you have Bloodborne, first party games. You have Bloodborne, Days Gone, Concrete Genie, great underrated game. I think people need to go out there and play. If you don't have Concrete Genie, I don't know if you do, Dave. If you own the
I don't own Concrete Genie.
But if you do, if you upgrade your PlayStation Plus account, I would say give it a try. It is a hit. It is the infamous hidden gem of last generation.
Okay.
Right. Right along with Days Gone, underrated game. Underrated. It's just an open world. It's a regular open world game that has zombies. That's it. Like zombie hordes.
Right.
Where you can use them. You can use them as a tool. So, love that game. You got Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Of course.
Yeah. No surprise there. Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut. Right. God of War 2018. Right? Little Big Planet.
Yep.
Knack. Come on. That's it. That's all they had to say. Yeah, Knack. That's all.
Wait. They got Knack, but they don't have Knack 2. That's a Knack attack, baby. You can't just have one Knack.
You know why? Because when they announced Knack 3 from PlayStation PS5, then they're gonna announce Knack 1 and 2. That's when the PlayStation did.
Come on now. How are you gonna deny people the sequel to the game that nobody wanted and nobody thought they were going to come out, and then they got it and they were like, okay, this game is perfectly fine.
That's
so
really
weird.
good. It's a really good game. Just
it's
saying.
Fine. It's a perfectly fine game.
It's a good now you have no exclusion. You have no.
Knack is a hidden gem. Okay, Knack is a hidden gem. I'll give you that.
You got to play Knack.
Knack is a hidden gem. Right.
Gravity Rush 2, Gravity Rush Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn, Infamous First Light, Infamous Second Son. First Light better. That was like sort of our first taste of standalone DLC, right? Like it was supposed to be DLC, and it was like standalone DLC. You got a physical edition.
It was a prequel, or no?
No, it wasn't a prequel.
Oh, okay. It
wasn't a prequel. Sort of a side thing to Infamous, the First Light, right? So I actually want to, that was something I want to do. I wanted to get back into Infamous First Light. I don't know why I stopped. I thought I liked the Infamous games. The first one was good. I still haven't played the second one. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales,
awesome.
Housemarque's Matterfall, right? That's definitely a hidden gem for last generation. I got the physical, didn't realize it was like the French.
Yeah. Well, they are a French studio, so
sometimes you have to. No, I'm just saying. Sometimes when you order from Amazon, make sure you check the region. I didn't realize a lot of games I ordered from Amazon are like the European version. Right.
Why is this in Italian and Russian?
No. Why is it rated PEGI?
Oh, there you go. That's a big sign right there. It's Cero 17. What? Where's the M? Where's the M rating? No, it's Cero.
Yeah, why is it rated PEGI M? I don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
What's a PEGI? I don't understand.
It's funny.
So you got Patapon Remastered, Patapon 2 Remastered, Resogun, awesome, Return.
Another Housemarque game, yeah. All of the Housemarque games.
All the Housemarque games until Dawn, really. Super massive games, all the Uncharted games, and Wipeout Omega Collection.
Yeah, best one on that list, baby. Amazing.
Well,
amazing.
Then we have third-party partners, right? Maybe. See, you're thinking Ubisoft. I'm thinking Square, maybe the next purchase, Sony. All right, because
that's
now
a possibility too. We definitely talked about that a couple episodes ago.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a Square game. You got Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. That's a Square game. All right, so I'm thinking maybe they got that. A good thing to be on all of these services. NBA 2K, right? Like that's a good thing to have on all these services, like the sports games, right? They didn't have Madden. I haven't seen Madden on this list, but it's good that they have that. Dead Cells, the infamous Dead Cells.
Love Dead Cells, man.
You love Dead Cells, and so does the guy who plagiarized the review.
Rip, Philip Musin.
He's online. He's online making original content, making original content.
His career definitely took a hit.
Yeah, I think it went too far with the death threats and his kid and his wife. Like, that went too far.
No. And we definitely don't condone that. But I mean,
definitely don't condone
that.
Yeah. Outer Wilds. I thought this was Outer World at first when I first glanced. I was like, a Microsoft game. Yeah. Microsoft game. No, it's Outer Wilds. Hollow Knight. That's on here. All right, so that's awesome. And then the classic games, the classic catalog. You have Hot Shots Golf. Ape Escape, Jumping Flash. That was a hidden gem on the original PlayStation to showcase what the PlayStation can do. Doesn't really hold up now, but if you take a look at it and you're jumping and you get to see like how far down you are and you're coming down, that was like revolutionary at the time.
Had a good sense of scale. I mean, it was a launch title. It's a long box.
It was. Right. Dark Cloud 1 and 2. Those are like PS2 games. All the Jack games. That's going to be in here. Wild Arms 3, Tekken 2, Mr. Driller. Yeah, then we got. You have again games that you have to stream because it's all PS3.
That is PS3 the thing that they
Infamous 2, Loco Roco, MotorStorm, Ratchet and Clank, all the PS3 games you gotta stream.
Now, I will say about the PS3 thing, they can do an emulator because people have made a PS3 emulator for the PC and it is fantastic. In some cases better than the original PS3 because you're able to utilize the extra hardware of a souped up PC, so you can kind of enhance the resolution a little bit, smooth out some of the anti-aliasing stuff and all that. They really need to put effort into making a PS3 emulator as opposed to just streaming, because you're already at the whim of your internet speeds and all that. So I get that it's difficult. I get that it's difficult, but I think they need to do that. Yeah,
they probably are. They just probably, if you ask me, they probably don't want to wait to launch this service, right?
Well, no. I mean, if it's given like the two options, sure, put it out as a streaming thing. Yeah, for sure.
And then if you're a PlayStation Plus premium user, you get 2-hour game trials where you get 2 hours to play games on certain select games. At launch, they'll have Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk 2077. That's not even 2 hours. Is not even the tutorial for that game. It's like a 5-hour tutorial.
Yeah.
We just talked about games we've been playing. Farming Simulator 2, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and WWE 2K22. So it's shaping up to be a good service, right? Like the games are there. All I see on the internet, people are excited about the game list that I sort of went through a little bit. But there are more games to come because there are hundreds of games. This is a fraction of the games.
Well, that's the thing that I was like, because I'm looking at the PS1 list, and it's like 10 games.
No Crash Bandicoot.
No, I know. Now. I know, yeah. Well, that's because Activision bought the rights to it, so now they own the IP. So yeah, probably not unless they want to pay the licensing fee. And I know they're going to put more games out there, but 10 games for the PS1 is anemic, considering they have over 1,000 games in their library.
And you know what? I thought the same thing until I heard this: PlayStation Plus Premium PS1 and PSP titles will have new save, rewind features, graphic upgrades, and improved frame rate.
Sure.
So that tells me that this is not just a dump, right, of games that you could play and it'll look the same way it did when you first played them, right? They're getting upgraded. So that means there's actual work put into this. So they probably, again, don't want to wait to have everything set. They want to get the service out there and add games, just like Microsoft with backwards compatible, right? Compatibility.
Sure.
Now there are about 1,000 games or maybe more that are backwards compatible, right?
Or Nintendo with their online service and their like handful of 10 games.
Yeah, they didn't start with 1,000 games or 100 games. They started with like 10 backwards compatible games.
Oh, sure.
That list over and over time, and I think that's what they're doing here. And also, classic PS1 game Siphon Filter will have trophy support on the PS Plus and Premium tier, and that wasn't announced in this graphic from PlayStation. That was announced by Sony Ben, right? Who made the Siphon Filter games. That makes sense now, right? Because now that's the start of, hey, we're going to roll out potential trophy support for these PS1 games and PS2 games that didn't have trophies at the time, right? So that takes time to program in. Nothing is easy, as Dave always tells me as a programmer.
Right. That's
Nothing
right.
is
Nothing's
easy.
No.
Right?
Like to do all that stuff requires work, right? You have to hook into the original game, and you need to figure out, well, how do we determine when these things proc, right? You hit this achievement, you got 1,000 gold in this one game. Well, how do we know? Like, you have to, put another layer of code on top of that and be able to like hook into the game code itself, figure that out, throw up an achievement, comes up over the overlay. It's it's a lot of work. But it's good to see. Everybody needs more trophies. I need more trophies. Very excited for this.
I'm not gonna lie, I need more cheap trophies. I mean, that's it. Like, come on.
Cheap?
Like,
cheap trophies. Yeah.
Cheap trophies. Yes. I need my Telltale platinums. That's what I need. Okay?
Right.
Let me beat the game and get a platinum. That's all I care. I don't care about hey, beating it on easy, hard, medium, and finding every shard or finding every crest or finding every scroll. Just give me. I need some cheap trophies. But listen, with the achievements, right? It wasn't day and date with achievements for Xbox 360 games. That came a little bit later, right? And there are no achievements for the original Xbox game,
right?
On Xbox.
No. 360 has them. Well, they were the ones that they birthed the whole concept of achievements, more or less. There were some games that did it beforehand, but Xbox codified it. They made it a universal thing. And every game had a set amount of achievements, and the original Xbox doesn't have any. Yeah.
So I think this is gearing up to be a good service. Again, you see 3 different approaches to subscription services, right? From all 3 major companies, right? With Microsoft having, new games on their service because they want to be more like Netflix, and PlayStation sort of having legacy games on there, but updated legacy games, not just games from 20 years ago, but games maybe from 2 years ago, maybe after the game's been out for a year, it'll be added to the service, right? And Nintendo strictly is all legacy.
Yeah.
For Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, listen.
3 different approaches.
You still walk into any GameStop and you will see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that came out when the system launched back in 2017, still $60. That game will never go on sale. You will never get it on the Nintendo Switch online service or any sort of pay one price buffet style. They know people are going to buy those games and they never go on sale. It's crazy.
All I care about is make sure you add the rewind feature. Okay? Because Nintendo, I'm sorry, gamer grief here, slight gamer grief, no rewind feature. The N64 game when they were expansion pack. That doesn't make any sense. You have it for the Nintendo, for the NES games, SNES games, even the Genesis games have rewind.
Yeah. Well, they really messed up the N64 emulation. All right. So there's a lot of bugs there, a lot of graphical glitches, frame rate issues.
I'm annoyed. I'm officially annoyed.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
All right. Let's stick with PlayStation. Dave loved Death Stranding. It was our game of the year in 2020.
That's right. 2019.
2019. Yes. 2019. But we always said we thought that would be a one-off, but apparently it may not be so, as Death Stranding 2 may have got leaked from Norman Reedus himself, as he bluntly said in an interview. When asked about Death Stranding, he said, it took a long time for him to do the mocap and everything.
Yep.
To get all, to get the mocap and the voice down, and he's just blurted out bluntly that we're working on the second one.
Well, there you go. He's like the Mark Ruffalo of interviewers.
Come on,
Mark Ruffalo is notorious for ruining Marvel plot lines. All the time.
But is he purposely trolling us?
No,
right?
No, he's just fucking up by accident, because he's all excited and whatever, and he forgets what's secret and what's not secret, and he's just like, So
this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna have a little bit more action in the game from the beginning. Okay, Kojima is gonna say, this is gonna be FedEx. This is gonna be a FedEx man with a Uzi. Okay, from the beginning. From the beginning. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's how you get me into the game. The game is...
You know what we need? We need Kojima to work on a brand new game. There is no reason for a sequel. Now, you haven't beaten it. You haven't beaten the game. They have told a complete story. They answer all of the questions that you need to have answered. They leave... There's obviously some interpretation and a little bit of mystery, but you get a satisfying ending. They do leave the door open for a sequel. Not surprised that they're doing a part 2, but this doesn't need to happen. I'm still going to play it, but it's not going to have any of the impact of the first one, because the stakes are the world. The world is at stake. There are these things from the other side that are attacking our planet, and Norman Reedus has to essentially save the world. It's a whole big thing, whole big plot that's going on.
Look, you know what? They're gonna up the stake. It's the universe That's a mistake now.
No.
Okay, it's the universe.
No, it's
universe.
It's not gonna have the same. I mean, it'll be good because it's Kojima and he'll do some interesting stuff with it. But narrative wise, like,
okay,
everything's been told. There's nothing else to tell in the story. Make a new game, Kojima. I love you, but you got to make a new game.
Just give me a FedEx guy with a Uzi in the backpack. That's all I care about.
You get those guns. You just have to get to chapter 3. It's not that late in the game, Dan. It's not that late in the game.
It should be chapter 1. Okay, it should be a tutorial.
It's chapter 3. It's not hard to get to.
Just like in Cyberpunk, it should be chapter 1 in the tutorial. How to teach you,
but there's all the other mechanics you have to learn before that. They don't want to give you everything at once. I've talked about this before.
I'm learning how to carry packages. I'm learning how to carry packages.
Yes, because that's the main mechanic of the game, Dan. That's the main mechanic of the game.
But then they give you like a car and legs and all of this other stuff to carry the package for you.
Yeah, well, you have to earn that. You have to build up to that so you can carry a bunch. And it's still difficult because the terrain gets more and more difficult. You're not walking over flat land anymore. You're traversing over mountains.
This is why I need a cheat code.
Oh my God. It's not hard. You get to chapter 3, the whole game opens.
If I wanted to be a FedEx guy, I would apply to FedEx. Sorry.
Oh my God.
And FedEx should be sponsoring this episode.
Right? I wish they were.
But it's coming. I believe Death Stranding 2 is coming. Death Stranding, I will say, was the best looking game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Although that was just the first one, not even the director's
the upgrade. Yeah. Although, and I would agree with you, it is a very beautiful game. It didn't sell as well as Sony expected, right?
No. They were
critically it did well.
It sold. Critically, it was confusing, but I think they were.
But I don't think it did the numbers that. I mean, it didn't do the numbers of like God of War or The Last of Us or Spider-Man or any of those games. You know, it did well enough. You know, it wasn't bad, but I think overall the numbers were a little bit down because it was a little divisive. You know, some people weren't necessarily about it. They're like, nah, this game isn't for me. They would meme on it. You know.
I challenged that. Death Stranding sold 5 million units.
Okay. How many did Spider-Man sell or God of War?
Probably more, but still,
they definitely sold more. God of War sold. You said you said how many? How many copies?
5 million.
Yes, God of War sold quadruple that amount.
Okay, well there you go. 5 million is good enough.
Yeah, it's I would say 5 million is great, but considering what your budget is, you know, I mean, you got to factor that all in.
Funny enough, Days Gone outsold that too at 90.
And that game also, Sony said, hey, the numbers weren't the numbers weren't that great for it. So Jesus, come on now.
Yes, they were expecting 12.
I'm glad that Kojima is getting to make another game. I'm sure Sony's also funding this as well, so they're going to have a hand in it. I'm sure it's going to be a good game, but I just don't think it's necessary.
All right, so Death Stranding should have been the new Silent Hill game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, the writing was on the wall that we were going to get a new Silent Hill game. It didn't happen. We still got Norman Reedus, right? And what's the director?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Like he was still he's in the game. I don't know if he had any other input in Death Stranding, but we were supposed to get the trifecta with the new Silent Hill game many moons ago, like 2015, 2014, around that time. But we've heard nothing but rumors of, you know, a new Silent Hill games coming out, but no reports on what, right? Nothing substantiated. And I think the last rumor we talked about was there was going to be a multi-platform Silent Hill game and then a Silent Hill game that was exclusive to PlayStation because PlayStation was funding the development of that. Right? Now we get a little bit more clarification maybe on this, right? Because the reports are Silent Hill 2 will be a remake in the style of Resident Evil remake, right?
Yep. That's the one to do.
And in more games, and in more Silent Hill games development. Now that makes more sense now, where we say, why would they have a multi-platform Silent Hill game and an exclusive game to Sony? Well, if they remake I guess maybe one of the best games in the series, or considered the best game in the series, part 2, that will be multi-platform, where the next iteration is being funded by Sony. That will be exclusive.
Well, of course, if Sony's going to put the money in, they're going to be like, make it for our system
Yeah.
only. Yeah.
Now I have more fond memories of the original. I never played 2 or 3, or I never played any of them.
Yeah, 2
afterwards.
is regarded as like, because it's more than just a Resident Evil style horror game. The narrative in there is bananas. It's very good. I believe Kojima directed it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Pyramid Head, amazing villain. The crazy ass nurses are amazing. Atmosphere in that game is great. 100% do that. 3 was good. 4 was okay. Then you can stop, I think.
Well, I hate spooky games, but back in the day, I didn't know I didn't like spooky games. So I played the original Resident Evil, or attempted to play the original Resident Evil a million times. I played the original Silent Hill game with the fog, right? That was the scary thing.
There's a lot of fog.
It was like you didn't know. Yeah, it was a lot of fog, right? So I have more. I'm LeBron James here, right? It's N64, GameCube, Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 2. I have more nostalgic for Silent Hill 1, the original.
I want to say they remade it for the Wii, Silent Hill 1.
There was a Wii Silent Hill game. I don't remember if it was only the Wii. I know there was a Silent Hill game on the Wii. I don't remember the name of it. It could have been named something else.
Oh, yeah. It's Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
So is that a remake of the first one?
It is. It's like a reimagining of the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. So different, but I mean, you could consider it. Yeah.
Well, we all know if Silent Hill 2 remake goes well, we're going to get a remake for 3 and 4. And
oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can skip over Downpour. I'll tell you that. And I think there were some other ones that were kind of After like 4, I think it kind of went downhill.
The Vita one was critically acclaimed and people liked it, and it's gone up in price. Right? I don't remember the actual name of that one because I don't like spooky games, so I didn't play it, but I do own it.
Dive into your fears, Dan.
No, I'm good. Last on the list, news stories. It is Rest in Peace. It's the final countdown for the 3DS and the Wii U eShops taking credit card payments in North America. This is it. May. I think it's May 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. You won't be able to do that. Take credit card purchases or payments on those eShops. And they canceled it in Europe back in 2019, so a long time ago in Europe, but they kept it alive in America, North America. Don't know why. It gets more popular out here. People were still buying.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff on there. There's some exclusive stuff that's still around. We had it with the Wii Shop. Most notably,
I think I owned. I did buy like a SNES game. I brought a Castlevania. The Castlevania game that. One of the Castlevania games.
Oh, well, that's Castlevania Rebirth, which was a reimagining of Castlevania for the Game Boy.
Yeah, I think I have that
Castlevania Adventure.
On a 3DS. Yeah. I gotta go redeem that before they shut it down completely. Can't do anything.
Yeah. So, it's a long time coming. 3DS, came out in 2011, I think? 2012, maybe? The Wii U was 2013.
No, 3DS. No. The Wii U was 2012.
Wii U was 2012. So 3DS was a year before, I think.
Yeah, it's a 2011.
Yeah. So they've had a good run. I mean, it's 10 years of the Wii U with the Wii U shop and an extra year, so 11 years for the 3DS. It's a pretty good run for what it is.
You don't like it? You like it? I don't like it how, like, when you have a failed console generation, right? It takes a lot. It must take a lot out of you, like, mentally and physically, because take a look at I can't think of his name. He used to be the head of Sony, right? He went through the whole
Jack Tramiel?
Jack oh man. Is it
Jack Tramiel?
Is it Jack Tramiel?
I think it is.
Well, I'll let you look up his name. But remember, he went through the whole
Jack Tretton.
Jack Tretton. He went through the whole PS3 era. Right? And then as soon as we get to the PS4 era and they're on top, he steps down. Hey, I've done my job. We're back on top. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right? Reggie.
Yeah, that's weird. Weird.
Reggie lived through the Wii U era.
Yeah.
As soon as we launched the Switch, and Switch had a slow start at first, right?
A little bit,
because people didn't know if they wanted to trust it. It becomes a success, and then he steps.
Yep.
Right. I guess you always want to leave on top.
I mean, 100%, right? Do you want to burn out bright, or do you want to fade away over a long time? Is the situation, and you kind of always leave on a high note, for sure.
All right. So that's all we got. That's all we got in the news. Dave, you got any good weekend plans?
I do. I need to prep for the Memorial Day party that's happening next week. So I'm winding down.
Jamaica.
I'm winding down from the right. You're going to be in Jamaica, so I wish you guys could make it, but you'll be there in spirit. I'll have a drink in your honor. I'll have a burger in your honor. It's going to be a good time. So I had a not an impromptu, but a kind of last minute request to host my friend's birthday party yesterday, and it rained. It rained at the most inopportune time, but we still made it work. So we couldn't use the roof, but now we're going to get to use the roof on Memorial Day. It should be nice. So got to do a lot of prep for that. Still got to buy some stuff. A lot of stuff when you're doing the party prep. I got to decorate and all that stuff. So it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a busy week.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I want to go see the new Rescue Rangers movie. I love Rescue Rangers when I was a kid.
I loved it when I was a kid. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I didn't know that the ugly Sonic that was supposed to be the original Sonic in the movie is going to be in Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
That character. Why even do it?
So I think there's like a Comic-Con situation that Chip and Dale go to, right? And I think one of them is doing a signing or whatever, because they're kind of like a washed up celebrity, and that's kind of what it is. So they're making fun of all these, like, when you go and you're like, yeah, I was like one of the Borg on Star Trek TNG, and he's signing whatever, and nobody's there at his booth, and you feel bad. So
Virgil. No one's at Virgil's booth.
Yeah. So, it feels a little sad. So they're going to have the original 3D render of Sonic there signing stuff, and no one's going to be at his booth and whatnot. So it does look good. I've heard some mixed opinions on it. I think it got an 8 on like IGN, either a 7 or an 8. So it's watchable. That's the only thing I care about. Sure. John Mulaney is the low point. Sadly, he is phoning it in as a voice actor. Even though he was had a hand in writing some of the jokes and the scripts and all that, he's not a great actor. He's a good comedian. He's a good stand-up comedian. I'll give him that.
Okay.
I'm with you. I definitely want to see it too. It was a big nostalgia hit. They're gonna have a lot of references in there. I feel like it's gonna be the new Roger Rabbit, where they just had everybody in their movie, right? Because Roger Rabbit was the marriage of Warner Brothers and Disney in one unholy mess of a movie that turned out to be amazing. They threw everything in there.
Fun fact. Eddie
Murphy was supposed to be in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He was supposed to be the lead character with Roger.
He was going to be Eddie Grant or the voice of Roger.
No, he's going to be Eddie Grant.
Wow, that would have made a completely different movie. Let me tell you, because they got Bob Hoskins, they got Mario, Mario.
He turned it down only because he had to do Hollywood. He had to do Beverly Hills Cop. Hollywood. Yeah. He had to do Hollywood Cop. Yeah. That's the only reason why he turned it down.
Wow. Okay. I think he made the right move. Beverly Hills Cop 2 was good. I think it was part 2 probably he was filming at the time. Part 2 was good. I like part 2. But yeah.
So, all right, that's it.
Okay. Well, that's episode 317 in the books, folks. Another fantastic episode, and we do want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.